Hello and good evening, everybody. You can see me, but I can't see you, so it's because of the light. So, Mrs. Lalbai Senior, members of the Lalbai family, trustees of the Atul Vidyalaya school, staff and management of Atul, students of the school, and last but not least, parents of the school. I wish each of you a very warm welcome. I'm deeply honored to be speaking to you today because when Sunil Bhai sent me the list of people who have been speaking previously, I was, wondering how come he chose me. And I'm, of course, deeply honored. I think the chairperson of SBI spoke to you just last year, and then we had very well-known celebrities like the chairperson of ICICI and my favorite, Vishwanath Anand, also came and spoke to you, I think, a few years ago. So, Sunil invited me to speak a couple of weeks ago, and then later on he slipped in, but there'll be 5,000 people in the audience. I said, Sunil, I have never spoken to anyone more than, with an audience more than 200. And you think that I can speak to an audience of 5,000? He said, why don't you give it a try? There's always a first time. So the first thing I bought this oversized jacket, so you can't see my heart pounding. The second thing, I started taking yoga lessons, to help me with my breathing so I don't kind of stutter while speaking. And then Sunil would every day call me to encourage me, you can do it, you can do it. And so I said, okay, perhaps I really can. And so what he's helped me with is dimming the lights so I cannot see the 5,000. This is a very smart trick that my friend Sunil has put the lights off. So, as you may have seen in the video, that I run a business school. And what we do in business is really measure everything. That's what we do in business. So there are various returns, like return on investment, return on equity. By the way, if you've been buying Atul shares, you know firsthand what return on equity means because you guys have done extraordinarily well. All these returns on sale and stuff like that. But I'm going to share with you perhaps one return that you don't know. Slide. And that's simply called return on luck, right? This is, I don't think, commonly known, but actually, according to me, the most important of all the returns. Now, I think it's fair to say, next slide, that Sunil was born lucky. I mean, to be born the grandson of the late Kasturbai Lalbai, we have to thank his mother for, right, that he was born to this family. And she's right here. And on behalf of all of us, we thank you for producing Sunil. Because Sunil has been born lucky. Would you agree that he's born lucky? Grandson of the great Kasturbai Lalbai. But I think we're not here just to look at his luck, but what he did with that luck. So we all have, each and every one of us have a lucky moment, something lucky, but most of us dismiss it as luck. Oh, I just got lucky. But you don't think of it as a blessing from the Almighty. And you think that, okay, I've got this luck for a reason. And I'll demonstrate what Sunil did with his luck. So, may I have the next slide, please? So firstly, Sunil became the managing director of Atul at the ripe young age of just 24. It's incredible. When he became the MD, the turnover of the company was just 83 crores, and guess what it is today? 2639 crores. The profit was just 2 crores when he became the MD in 84, and today it is a whopping 400 crores. That's incredible. And that's a true example of what I call return on luck, right? It's not just the luck. That we have to thank his mother for. But what he did was that return on luck. He didn't just think, oh, I'm born a lalbai, so let me play golf. No, he didn't do that. He thought, I'm a lalbai, and I therefore have the responsibility to behave like one, to behave like my grandfather, to behave like other members of the lalbai family. And therefore, he actually rolled up his sleeves, and there's nobody who works harder, I'm sure many of you know him, than Sunil. And so I think this is a business lesson for all of us. Right? It's just not, I'm just not here to flatter my good friend, but I think I'm here to sell you a business concept, and this business concept is called return on luck. We all get some lucky events, but what you do with that lucky event makes you who you are. And I can share with you many other examples, but I think this one example is good enough to understand that we look at return on investment, we look at return on equity, return on sales, all these returns. But the most important return that you need to think about is, in fact, return on luck. I'm going to move to another part of what I'd like to share with you today. And that is how you can succeed in today's modern world. So many times we think, as long as I can feed my family, I can give back something to society, I'm pretty okay. And I think for many of us that's fine, But I think for the super achievers, and I'm now talking to the students, if you want to be a super achiever, you can do it. And you can do it here and now. Let me show you a video to prove my point.
Forbes is out with its latest list of the highest paid YouTube stars, and this year, a 6-year-old boy is on the list, raking in millions, the magazine says, by playing with toys. Known simply by his first name, Ryan has turned a child's pastime into a very grown-up business.
Whoa, feel it, it's like a real egg.
On his YouTube channel, Ryan Toys Review, the 6-year-old opens toys.
Oh!
Plays with them.
Oh, his feet flap.
And offers his thoughts.
Wow!
The videos recorded by his parents are posted online for millions across the world to watch.
Okay!
The channel started 2 years ago when Ryan was a mere rookie. Today he has more than 10 million subscribers and now ranks 8th on the Forbes list of highest paid YouTube stars, by far the youngest to crack the top 10. Forbes, through number crunching and expert interviews, figures Ryan's page brought in $11 million in revenue in a year, money that came from ads and sponsored content.
So I shared with you that today's business world belongs to the innovators. Now here's a 6-year-old kid who didn't say that, oh, I'm only 6 years old, so I can't do much. I can only, play with my friends. This guy, I'm not sure whether you fully understood what he does. So this fellow, Ryan, all he does is he tests toys, right? He tests toys, his mother takes the film, puts it up on video, and the 10 million hits. YouTube gets $11 million in revenue through their ad sales. A big part of it goes to Ryan. He's only a 6-year-old kid. All he's doing is he's opening toys and saying how good that toy is. Now, don't you think that's an absolutely incredible story that you can do today, with zero investment? Your mother takes a picture and posts it on YouTube. So, I talk to my students very frequently. Obviously, I talk to my students. They're a bit older. They're about 20 to 25 years old, mostly. And I say, you're lucky that you're a 20-year-old. Because at my age, when I was a 20-year-old, there weren't that many opportunities. So if you wanted to create a business, you had to invest in this big capital. You had to put down a lot of capital to make a plant. You had to do something, at that scale. Today, you don't need money at all. All you need is an idea how to become an innovator. I think being an innovator is by choice, not by your DNA. Many people think, oh, I can't invent anything. And I think it's just that they don't know that they have it in them. Now, Ryan was not born with some great creative ability or with great skills. He used his brains. He's saying, I'll just write toys. And because he's a 6-year-old, other 6-year-olds and other people believe in him. So it's as simple as that. Next slide, please. So, this is really intended for the faculty and the parents who look at education as grades. I'm sorry if you've been saying something different, but I'm happy that my good friend Sunil started off that education is not about grades, it's about attitude and it's about your behavior and so on and so forth. So it encourages me to go further and say that education is really about unleashing the mind. Many people, because of our global campuses, ask me, so tell me, who's a global manager? What is today's global manager all about? And in my view, the global manager needs to be innovative. And how do you become innovative? You become curious. I call it it's the day and age of the curious manager. How do you become curious? And I think the job of schools is not to give students answers, but to give students the ability to ask questions. And so when you look at business is not about answers. It's about asking the right questions. And so when you look at it, it sounds very similar, and perhaps it is similar to a great extent, but that little nuance of saying, I'm going to train you to ask questions changes everything. Because that's when you have a curious mind. Have you ever, played with a little kid? A little kid will always ask you questions. How's this done? Why is it not like that? How the opposite of what, why can't cars fly? What can't you do this? And it's that curiosity. It's that hunger. It's that curiosity that creates the curious manager. When we become adults, we somehow think we know all the answers and we stop being curious. And that's the biggest mistake we make. Because the world belongs to the curious manager. And I think if we just inculcate that curiosity, we would all be, a global manager, because a global manager really is focusing on being innovative, and curiosity is the step to becoming innovative. So I thank once again the Lalbai Group, and in particular I thank all the students who guided me at Atul Vidyalaya during my trip this afternoon. So they were fantastic brand ambassadors of the school. They really did an excellent job. I thank everyone for this very warm reception. And, you know, when I come to Atul, I feel very different than when I go to many other places, because there is a certain amount of spirituality in the air. You can just feel that. You feel warm. You know, when you go to an ashram, you have that sense of feeling good. I don't know, it's in the air. And it's the same sort of feeling that I get here. You know, if my students touch my feet, I would be, you know, absolutely, I'll fall off a chair or something. It just doesn't happen. So when I see that the students of this school touch feet, they have that reverence, they have that respect, I know that the school is doing a lot of things right, and I wish it nothing but the very best. Thank you very much for this very kind invitation.